Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. Dun, dun. It's a raccoon with a talk show slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Hey there, everybody. It's Beaton here, and welcome back to Trash Can Tidbits number 28. You're in for a real treat this week because I'm going to get into another collab video, and I'm really excited. One of the things I've been getting into is chatting it up with various YouTubers out there and coming up with some ideas for a collab. And today, we are hopping across the pond to British things up a bit with a truly wonderful British YouTuber who also happens to be a trash panda, the one and only Shadow Raccoon. Hey there, Shadow. Thanks for being on my show this week.
Hi Beaton, thank you for having me on the show. It's a real pleasure to be on your channel.
So as a fellow raccoon, I'd love to get an opportunity to get to know them. And as Shadow is a friend from across the pond, this week I'm going to ask some questions for Shadow to answer. I hope that sounds great. You ready for this, Shadow?
Okay Beaton, let's get started.
Good. Let's get right into it. My first question is, what got you started in the furry fandom, and how long have you been in the fandom?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let's have a think about that. It's been about 4 years, I think I've been in the fandom now. I started as a cosplayer. I had a Sly Cooper cosplay because I absolutely loved the Sly Cooper games. And really, it was just kind of an excuse to, try and get a fursuit without being a furry. And then I met Theodore and Regda at MCM, a London Comic Con once, and they sort of gradually showed me the furry fandom. And I went to a London Furs winter party. They didn't tell me it was a furry party, they told me it was just like a costume party. I kind of knew it was a furry thing the moment I walked through the door. And yeah, pretty much from there I decided I just want to be a furry, and I created Shadow from there onwards.
What made you choose a raccoon for your persona?
This one's a bit related to the first one, obviously, is I chose Raccoon partly because I was already Sly Cooper, and Sly Cooper made me fall in love with raccoons. It's what made me kind of look into them as a species and get an idea of just how interesting they were as animals, and it seemed like a natural fit for me to just become a raccoon, and I wouldn't change it.
What's it like being a British fur? Is the furry scene in the UK any different from what you've seen at MFF 2018?
Oh, now, being a British furry, it is different from being an American one. I've made a couple of videos, actually, on being a UK fur and a British fur. The time zone thing is a nuisance if you want to try and get to know people in America. But we have quite a strong fandom here. We've got a couple of conventions that sell out now within seconds from going on sale. There's 4 major conventions in the UK, so, there's definitely that, and there is meets everywhere. You could probably do a meet every single week if you wanted to. I know from speaking to other American furs that we're pretty quite lucky in the fact that we can get to meets a lot easier than some people can, because obviously if you live in rural America, I imagine you're kind of a bit out in the wild there, but whereas obviously UK is quite small. But honestly, people are very similar in the fandom. The accents are different, of course. But I think on a whole, British furs and American furs like mostly the same thing and pretty much the same to talk to. It's just where we live, our time zones, and what we can go to and what we can't go to. That's different.
How did you meet your mate, Theodore Rabbit?
So I first obviously met Theodore at MCM Comic Con. We kind of spent a lot of time getting to know each other, and then we kind of decided to make it a thing, really. I'm actually going to make a video on this as an individual story, because I think it probably does deserve to go into a bit more detail. But we spent plenty of time actually getting to know each other, which is something I thought was really nice, because it gave us quite a nice solid start when we actually decided to actually get together, and it's been nice.
What cons have you been to, and which ones do you wish you could go to?
Furry cons I've been to, so GFT 2017, 2018, 2019, obviously I'm guest of honour at 2020, and then we've got, of course, I've been to Confuzzled in the same years actually, 2017, 18, 19, and of course I'll be going there this year, and of course I've been to Midwest Fur Fest in 2018. That was a lot of fun. It was nice to go to American Con at last, and it certainly won't be my last. Cons I'd like to go to? I'd love to go to Anthrocon. That's on my list. But obscure one that I'd love to actually go to if I ever got the chance would be Aquatifer. I think it's called Aquatifer still. It's the FurCon that's set at Water Park in the north of America, and it just sounds like a really fun place for a con. Of course, I won't be going swimming in fursuit if I go there.
What got you into making YouTube videos?
The story of how I joined YouTube. Now, this is fun. So we were with our friend Freddy Panda. We'd been to see Baby Driver, good film, and we were having a joke about it before we went to bed, and I just kind of did a review in the style of a Raccoon. I talked about the trash cans in it and the fact that there was a scene where they left the car at a dump, and I approved of that because, raccoons and dumps, and we said, well, let's just make this into a video and stick it on Twitter and see what the response was. So we did something called a Raccoon movie review, and yeah, it went down quite well. So I started doing them every week on Twitter. Twitter's not the best place to launch your video career, let's face it. So I was like, okay, well, it's Christmas, I've got some time off work, I'm going to move them all onto YouTube. So I sat there, I uploaded an absolute ton of the videos. You can actually most of them are still on there. Some of them I've actually had to remove because I'm just not fighting content ID claims on them now. But yeah, so that was the start of it, and then we did movie reviews, and I kind of like, I want to do more than this. So I started doing things like advert reviews and that sort of thing. And yeah, that's pretty much how it began, and it's just kind of gone from there. And, I like to talk about anything from advice to, what stuff you can buy from wish.com that's furry. So, I like to think I talk about all sorts of things, and it's certainly grown faster and further and bigger than I ever imagined, and it's been a lot of fun.
Who are some of your favorite fursuiters? Did any of them give you any inspiration for your persona? There's been a few fursuiters that kind of inspired me, I guess. One notable one is probably Tea Leaf Raccoon. He was definitely the Raccoon fursuit that I pretty much fell in love with when I first saw it. It's such a lovely suit. But obviously I was already a raccoon at this point, so it didn't encourage me to become a raccoon. But then again, I didn't really interact with furries before I became a furry, so my persona itself isn't actually based off any furries. But there are definitely people who've encouraged me in the fandom or inspired me. Artemis Wishfoot, for example, is probably a very good example of someone who's kind of inspired me in the YouTube scene. He's been an interesting person to listen to talk about his experiences, and he's helped me run some panels on YouTube as well. So he's been quite helpful. Yeah, very good. Blue Dragon's probably another person as well. He's very positive and upbeat and quite vocal about everything that he does and gets up to, and I think he's been quite an interesting person to kind of tell me things and show me things about the fandom. So yeah, another fur that I do respect. What are some things you like about European cons that you think American cons could benefit from? Or is the con-going experience in the UK pretty much the same as cons like MFF?
UK cons are very different, even from actual ones on continental Europe as well, quite frankly. I don't think there's many cons out there besides the ones in the UK that kind of bundle both registration and accommodation into one, and that's a big difference. So Confuzz, for example, if you're booking to go to it and you want to stay in the main hotel, you need to book the whole thing at once. So it's a whole package, whereas Midwest Furfest, it was kind of unbundled, and most American cons that I've come across are kind of separated. Jeffty's very similar to Confuzzled. You basically book your registration and the room. I mean, you can book the hotels separately, but it will cost you a lot more because obviously con rates, so you book it all together. I think that's the main difference. Confuzzled's a lot longer than any American cons. It's like 2 days longer. Which is great. And obviously they're a little bit smaller, so a little bit quieter and easier to get around. I don't know if that applies so much in Europe, because Furence and NFC are both quite big now. But yeah, there is some differences. Not massive other than that. The music's different than the dances. You get a lot more like cheesy pop music in the European ones. Like a little bit Euro pop here, whereas America was a lot more electronic and like dance music and hardcore stuff. That was a big difference I noticed at MFF. And obviously, you get bigger variety of panels at bigger cons. That's just how it's done. And of course, fursuit walks. We still have fursuit walks at our ones here, but they've not reached as big enough as like MFF to have a menagerie instead.
My final question is, what's your favorite thing about being a furry?
The best thing for me about being a furry is it just allows me to escape for 5 minutes from my hectic, busy life and just become a giant raccoon, and it is just fun. It allows me to kind of relax, chill out, make good friends, and just kind of be comfortable with myself and just forget about everything else that's going on, the boring stuff, the bills, and everything else that associate with an adult life, you know, the hell, the travel, you know, the costs and everything else, and it's just relaxing and just really, it makes me feel free.
Well, there you have it. Those were some really awesome answers. Thanks for answering them, Shadow. It's really great to get to know a fellow trash panda. And also, thank you for being on my show this week. I really hope we get to meet again in the future so I can give you another big hug.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on your channel, Beaton. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really enjoyed doing this, and the questions were quite a lot of fun to answer, so thank you. I do hope I get to see you again. I'm definitely hoping to get to an American con in the next couple of years, so unless you come to a European con first, then hopefully I'll see you there, and there's plenty of hugs in store for you. Thanks.
I really hope you all out there enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell to be notified for future videos. And don't forget to check out Shadow's YouTube channel as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.